What is going on, Buckers, Buckettes? I'm joking. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Today is March 30th, the day before Zombie Jesus Day, 2024, the year of our Lord, the year of the American Dragon. No, it's the year of the dragon, not the American Dragon. Don't say that. It's the year of the boy that lives in juggles. Apparently, the year of Monet.
For God's sake.
Oh, goodness. All right. Anyways, everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to Bearded Fireflies Wrestling Podcast. Today, we're going to be going outside of the norm. I mean, we normally talk about outside of the norm. Normally, we talk about all the things in wrestling, the products during the week. We've talked about a lot of things. A lot of things were repeated this week. We'll talk about a few things that happened, but we're going to bring up some other topics toward the end of it. So before we get started, before we get into it, Chris, how was your week?
My week was okay, but let me start off with a celebratory Prime Pop.
Pre-May. Old Pre-May. So Chris is drinking Pre-May. I'm drinking Celsius. Drinking Celsius. Anyways, why was your week rough, man?
Just work and personal stuff going on, man. You know how it is.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you. My day was all right, man. My week was all right. I made a cheesecake for Zombie Jesus Day tomorrow. I made a lemon cheesecake. The house smells phenomenal. Once I jump off here, I'm probably going to make a blueberry topping for it so that tomorrow when we have Zombie Jesus Day, we can have something good for dessert. You got anything special going on for Zombie Jesus Day?
Negative
No?
Ghost Rider. Nope.
I'm hosting dinner.
Nice.
I'm making Hawaiian ham tomorrow. It's gonna be
okay.
Can I say that? Because it's cultural appropriation, right? Anyways, we got Jerry Cox joining us. What's up, Jerry? I can't say that. It's cultural appropriation. Hawaiian ham. I'm making a Hawaiian ham tomorrow.
Your hat is backwards. It's culture appropriation. You thug.
Get right. Get right with your Lord. Anyways, yeah, man, my week was all right. I made cheesecake today, like I said, and then next week, next big week, WrestleMania.
Gigantic week.
Anyways, Jerry says, "What's up, brother?" Not much, man. Just hanging out, just chilling. But yeah, so this week, a lot happened, but it was a lot of prep for WrestleMania. A lot of things being confirmed. We got a few new matches for the card for WrestleMania, so that is something that we're going to hit on. And also, we got a beatdown. We got a beatdown on Raw, and we got a debut this week, which was awesome. Anyways, Jerry said I'm doing a live stream for Mania next week on TikTok. Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, we'll start off. Raw was what it was. It was a good show, but we had a lot of good banter between CM Punk and Seth, and
a lot of good banter.
A lot of good banter.
I don't think I've ever seen this version of Punk in a WWE setting. We saw a little bit of it in AEW, but I feel like it happens so much in AEW that if you're a follower of their product, you basically become, numb and normalized to F this, F that, shit, bitch, all that stuff. But Punk and Drew, man, they went at it like heavy. Yeah. But that line that Punk cut on Drew saying, "You were the chosen one, but who were you chosen by? Are you brave enough to say his name?" I'm like, bruh. Yeah. Punk just does not care.
He doesn't, and that's
I love it.
That's the super awesome part about it, right? He didn't give a shit, and he even said, you know, I don't feel like dealing with two dipshits. And Drew was like, PG, brother, PG. And so, you know, it was really good banter. Jerry says CM Punk is on another level with his promos.
Truly.
Truly, absolutely, and it's enjoyable. I enjoy watching it, and it's not, you know, he's not taking shots at AEW. He's not taking shots that don't need to be taken.
Although he's going to have that interview on Monday with Ariel Hawani that
Ooh,
just might make Tony Khan have a meltdown.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Unless he's
But
still covered
Ariel
under
will
the
not hold
NDA.
back.
Unless
See, I
he's
don't
still,
know. I feel like Punk wouldn't have signed an NDA because of the type of person that he is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild what happens on Monday. I'm gonna be paying attention. There's a few things I'm gonna be paying attention to. Raw, obviously, the Bray Wyatt thing, and also, you know, that interview. Monday is gonna be very, in a way, very, very crucial.
There's going to be a lot of emotions on Monday, man. There's going to be Punk, which who knows what kind of emotions we're going to get out of that. Then there's going to be Bray, which I don't think there's going to be a dry eye in any household.
No.
And then you got the Pat McAfee show with everybody that's going to be on it.
Yep.
And then you got Monday with Roman, Rock, and Cody and Punk.
God, and look, I'm gonna say this right here for anybody watching, anybody that's gonna watch. I think this is the most anticipated that I've ever been for a WrestleMania, and
It's
I
the
mean
best.
that. It's the best build up, in my opinion. You know, even WrestleMania 2030 didn't have this kind of build up. I mean, you know, with Daniel Bryan, it was what it was, but we kind of knew what was going to happen. In my opinion, I don't know what's going to happen at Mania.
And that's the best part of it.
That's the best part of it, right? Like I have my predictions that only two titles are going to remain on contenders, and we'll talk about that later. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, and that's the best part about it. It is like we don't know. And then to close out, you know, to close out Raw, we had the Bloodline attack Jimmy Uso, and we had Seth and Cody come for the save. Really good segment, really good match with Jay. Who was Jay going against? I don't know.
Shinsuke.
Shinsuke, yeah, really good match, solid match. But then we had the Bloodline. We knew the Bloodline was in the building. They did like an interview earlier, and they attacked Jay, Cody, and Seth, or they went to attack Jay, and Cody and Seth made the save. Real quick, Jerry with the comment says the Bray Wyatt special is going to be hard for me not to break down in tears. Just being honest. Hey, that's the same for all of us. I mean, Bray is why we made this show. Anyways, so then we had Cody beating the piss out of Jimmy all the way to the back.
And Solo.
And, oh yeah, yeah, and so yeah, he beat the piss out of Solo. I didn't think The Rock was going to attack. I did not think The Rock was going to attack Cody. What we didn't talk about was Cody was cutting a promo. Rock came out surprised. Nobody knew Rock was there. Rock came out, and Rock whispered something in Cody's ear. Cody looked perplexed. Rock left. I was like, what the fuck just happened? But that was all setting up for later. Rock came and beat the piss out of Cody. Was throwing him
Understatement of the century.
Dude, yeah, understatement of the century. Slamming his head into his tour bus. They flashed the camera back to Rock. Mind you, the whole time The Rock is cutting a promo. While he's doing this, like he's cutting a promo on Cody, and he's beating the piss out of him, saying, "Mama Rhodes, look what I've done to your son." And you see Cody blood, and this is cool. We enjoy seeing blood when it's appropriate, and right now I feel like it was appropriate. And you know, Rock took his hand and there was a weight belt, and on the weight belt it said Mama Rhodes. It was all white, and he took his hand, covered it in blood, and smeared it on the belt. Now there's two things about this segment that I didn't know. First one was and I didn't pay attention in real time until the very next day. The Rock was standing there cutting a promo, and they had a trailer behind him, and on the trailer was Austin and Cena. And if you've been watching for the past few weeks, Chris and I have been talking about this as a possibility: The Rock and Cena. How do you think it was a coincidence that that
No,
fucking trailer
no,
was there, or do you think it was planted?
planted 100%. There's no way because of Cena endorsing Cody earlier last year, and then Austin and Rock's history. There's no way that was a coincidence. I refuse to believe that was a coincidence.
No
If
way.
it was, and we're wrong, and neither one of them show up at Mania, great. I mean, it is what it is. But this is WrestleMania 40.
Yep.
This is arguably one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, one of the biggest main events of all time.
I agree.
I would dare almost say it's as big as Austin and Rock. I wouldn't go that far, just for the simple fact that both of those guys changed an entire generation of wrestling. Not that Roman and Cody haven't, but
Yeah.
it's really hard to meet that impact that Rock and Austin had.
Yep.
I think the closest to those two guys is probably Cena.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then the second bit of it, which I turned it off after I seen the cameras fade away. They yelled clear. And if you continued watching, you would have seen what happened, but they yelled clear. And then you heard The Rock's voice say, "Do you think just because you said clear and we're on TV that I'm done?" And he just waylaid the shit out of Cody with that weight belt, man. Like, we're talking, he gave Cody a beating that Hogan would give his opponents with that fucking weight belt. Good God, what a segment.
I think it's one of the first Raws we've had in a minute that's had color.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not really big on blading. I actually have been really open about not liking blading. Just for the fact that AEW, hate to say it again, but they have quite literally ruined the visual of blood.
They have. They have. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought that was the very best ending to a Raw that I have seen in a very long time. Where I'm like, oh my God.
I think the last Monday Night Raw that I feel ended the best was probably Taker and Brock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they had the entire roster empty out just to pull them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I liked about this? Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Jerry says the Rock segment reminded me of 97, 98 Raw. Absolutely. And I'm gonna be honest here. I thought Rock was gonna throw Cody over the
Dude, I thought he was too.
I was like, oh no. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh no. Literally out loud. Like, Chelsea is sleeping next to me. I'm sitting here in the dark and I'm like, oh no. This is gonna be bad. Oh fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is The Rock gonna do? And we didn't see him throw it yet. And he said, you and me both. I was just like, what the fuck is about to happen? And I think everybody was like, oh, this is not going to end good. Right. And that segment, Jerry, he said it reminded him 97, 98 Rock or Raw. To me, that reminded me a lot of the buildup between The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania, where the NWO came out and they beat the shit out of The Rock. Right. And then they put him in the ambulance. And then Hogan hit the ambulance with it. My buddy Will Nevart says, I'm just waiting for Rikishi to hit somebody with a car nowhere backstage. Jerry says
I'm surprised Rikishi hasn't gotten involved with the Usos.
It's
right there.
It's right there. The writing is on the wall, but I think that they're trying to keep it a little bit unpredictable.
I think since we're getting Solo and Jay next week, I think Rikishi is going to have something to do somewhere.
Yeah. What if Rikishi is like a special enforcer or a special guest ring announcer?
Bro, imagine if he's like the referee or some shit for his boys.
One of them bumps into him and it's over. He's gonna be like, anyways.
All we need is JR commentating. He's backing that big old ass up.
He's backing that big old ass up. Anyway, by God, he has a family. No, but by God, that's his son. I I think honestly, like the buildup that they have done for Cody and Seth, we'll take Seth out of the equation because Seth really isn't a factor. He's just there.
Neither is Roman.
Neither is Roman. I mean, you
That's
fucking
easy.
rocking Cody. That's it. Like we talked about last week. Roman's an afterthought in this fucking feud, which
so is Seth. Look at how bad they're dragging him on Twitter.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's bad, and it's almost like it's Cody versus The Rock, Seth versus Roman, because Roman had that back and forth with Seth, which he called him a 40-year-old virgin featuring Seth Rollins.
That was one of the funniest insults I think I've ever seen.
I died watching that. That shit had me rolling. But yeah, man, Raw was good. There wasn't a lot of substance to Raw, but what there was fucking great. We'll talk SmackDown, and then I'll let you talk NXT because I might have to pull this cheesecake out of the oven here in a little bit. But SmackDown last night was great.
Fantastic show,
dude. Just every match hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so Will says Seth pulling double duty with Cody's storyline and his own arc. Kind of how Dom is helping Legado del Fantasma while still with Judgment Day. Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. I feel like, okay, so we had two teams advance into the tag team ladder match at Mania. We got we got the New Cash Republic, so that's pretty awesome to see them, and we also got Aussie or A-Town Down Under. I didn't think A-Town Down Under was gonna go over.
Absolutely deserved too.
Yes, absolutely deserved. So it looks like we have 5 teams right now. Who's the 6th team? Because it's supposed to be 6 teams.
DIY, Judgment Day, Catch Republic, Profits.
No, Profits didn't go over.
Yeah, they did. They beat AOP.
No, they beat AOP, but that was to get to the semifinals.
Oh, right. Okay.
Aussie Down Under or whatever the fuck.
A-Town Down Under, right.
Yeah. So that's 4, and then the other team from Raw, that's 5.
Right.
New Day. There's a 6th team.
Are they having one more?
It was supposed to be 16. No. Good Brothers lost last week.
Hold on, I'm looking right now because I haven't posted.
Yeah, dude. There's supposed to be 6 teams. I thought it was 6 teams. I could be wrong.
I think you're right on 6, but I thought it was 5.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was
12 people in a ladder match is insane.
But I mean, look, there was 6. No, it was fatal 5-way at Mania. When they were in Orlando,
right?
And the Hardys returned. But yeah, so we had two teams advance, so that's pretty awesome, pretty cool. And then we had a segment, and that actually ushers in to our segment. We had Legado del Fantasma come out, thanking Dom Mysterio for distracting the deadbeat dad. That is Rey Mysterio. And then 33 was a fatal 4-way. Okay, yeah, you're right. Anyways, so then we had Rey Mysterio come out with all of LWO. By the way, I'm going to say this. I hate when Ray's in a match or when any of them are in a match and they're like LW. Oh, I fucking hate it.
So
Like let
you know why they do that.
probably because we
Because
all hate it.
you got this the entire show.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
You gotta get that fan interaction, man. I hate it too.
I
But
fucking hate it.
we're in a generation where 9 times out of 10 people that are at shows are on their goddamn phones.
You're right.
Why do you think they do the Bray Wyatt stuff with the Fireflies?
Yeah,
Obviously they're honoring Bray, but you know,
the
it's one of
interaction.
those things where you have to be aware of the culture, and unfortunately that's part of the culture, and I hate it.
Very true. But Jerry brings up a good point. I knew Dragon Lee was going to attack with Ray. That was a given already. All right, so that's going to usher in. We're going to talk about the Mania card here in a little bit, but yeah. And so we had a match with Bianca and Dakota Kai, and that was a really good match. Dakota played the knee injury really well, and so it was awesome. We seen Bianca go over, and that was awesome. After the match, Dakota Kai and all of Damage Control came out, with the exception of Io Sky came out and attacked.
I found the 16, by the way. Awesome truth.
Yep, awesome truth. You're right.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm just gonna say this right now. They better not have those two clowns win that damn title.
I don't think that they're going to.
My God, that would be the worst mistake ever.
Okay, going back to the Rey Mysterio thing and Dragon Lee. Will says, "Do you think Carlito might turn on Dragon Lee and Rey?" I don't think so.
He needs to.
I babyface Carlito sucks.
It's really
Just
bad.
like babyface Ciampa sucks. Will says, "I forgot about Awesome Truth." Yeah, yeah.
You and me both.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Anyways, so we had Naomi come out, and Naomi was trying to defend Bianca's honor. She got beat down, and then we got the newest signee to SmackDown, Jade Cargill, and she looked like a fucking $1,000,000 when she signed her contract earlier in the night, and she looked like $1 billion when she came out. Now, there's a lot of people all over the fucking interwebs in the IWC that are shitting on Jade's debut, saying, "Oh, let me copy your homework. That was just a debut from fucking whatever her name is, Monet." Difference, yeah. Who? There's a difference, man. They kept Jade in training for 6 months so that she would be ready for a debut. And it's awesome that she's actually having her first official match at Mania. And she's not going to be green. She's not going to look green. She's going to be fully trained. Dude, that entrance is her same music that she used in AEW.
I'm impressed.
But the presentation is 1,000 times better. Flawless.
You know what the craziest part about Jade is? I was very vocal about her in AEW, saying that she needed to be put against people that actually make sense. Like the fact that they never had her against Britt Baker is ridiculous. Yeah. And there's already a weak ass roster there to begin with. So it's like, oh yeah, we gave her 60 wins. Okay, can you name any of those people? No.
Well, then on top of
Ruby Soho and freaking, I don't even know who else she faced.
Yeah, but I mean, and think about it. Like on top of that too, she didn't face Thunder Rosa,
right?
And that's some of your biggest stars in AEW is Thunder Rosa.
Like here's my thing about that too. If you can't trust your vets to carry somebody that you're not confident about in the ring, what does that say about you as a booker? Because that is a vet's job to carry somebody that isn't 100% like right to be in that ring. Look at William Regal. William Regal exposed Bill Goldberg, not on purpose.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No, I completely agree. But back to Jade's debut, man. That was fantastic how they debuted her, and we're going to be getting a 6-women's tag team match. I think that is appropriate. We're getting damage control against Bianca, Naomi, and Jade, and I think this is gonna be a great match.
Dude, that power bomb that Jade hit on Dakota was disgusting.
Dude, that pop up power bomb was nasty, bro. She planted her on her shoulders.
She almost
It's
put her
like,
through the ring.
yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. But yeah, man, it's exciting, man. It's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. I'm fully enjoying it. Um, but yeah, dude, there is something I want to bring up that you talked about, and you told me. I think it was yesterday before we talk about NXT. Bo Dallas made a comment, and in that comment, he said that Sean Spears is a part of the Wyatt Six. How big is that? Like how to be Sean Spears and to be in the Wyatt Six? How big is that?
So my only concern right now is if that was real, because people are telling me that it was fan made, and people are making it sound like, oh yeah, it's very convincing that it's Bo, that it's Sean involved in that whole thing. But if you look at Sean's presentation, it screams Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Also, you got to think about it like this too. Like all the things that people are saying that are fan made, right? Like from Bo Dallas, or AI. My concern is that people are like, "Oh, this is fan made. This is fan made," which it may be true, but there was a video made that was prior to the Rumble where he said Alexa Bliss is not going to return because she's not ready. Right? After the Rumble, he said, I told you Alexa Bliss is not going to return because she's not ready. What's Alexa Bliss doing now? She's
Getting ready.
training.
Right.
She's training. Right? So, like, that has to say he knows something
Yeah.
and it's not fucking fan made.
Right.
I'm sorry. So, there is something in the works that we aren't seeing.
Right.
And that if it does come out to be true, god damn it.
Bro, if it comes out to be true, I'm definitely going to be clapping at a couple people.
Yeah. Yeah. Will says Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy. Absolutely.
Did they ever confirm that was him?
Yeah, they did. Because he
They
was
did.
under contract. Yeah, they said he was under the mask. WWE didn't come out and say it, but Bo did. Bo
Right.
came out and he had said that it was him under the Uncle Howdy mask. But who knows what the fuck is gonna happen now, man? Like I don't know if they're gonna debut him or if he is gonna re-debut or if he is going to go under a different character. Tyler Rotunda, Tyler Wyatt.
So I think my only concern would be if he's ready enough to come back.
Yeah.
Like I would feel like, because he loves his brother, obviously, how close
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
And Taylor is doing the documentary. So
Yes.
it's like, if he's ready enough, I would say let him do his brother's work. Let him continue that journey. If he wants to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Wyatt Six become a reality, become something that's actually presented on TV. Because if there's one person who believed in Bray Wyatt more than anybody, it's Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H pushed the Wyatt family in NXT, and he, was very close with Wyatt.
Yeah.
And for him to, be the person to tell everybody the news of his passing, I mean, what does that tell you about Triple H as a human being?
Yeah. It's great respect for Bray. Will says, "Are the Righteous signed with AEW? I believe that they're signed with AEW under Ring of Honor because I
Yeah.
kept hearing they're supposed to be a part of the Six. Yeah, I heard that was a possibility too.
It was one of those things where they were kind of like riding the line for, and then they got the offer over at WWE, so they went to or AEW and went over to there.
Yeah, yeah. So now here's my biggest thing is: do you allow Bray Wyatt? And I know that it doesn't really matter what we say, but do you let Taylor Rotunda or Bo Dallas, however you want to present him, do you let him have creative control of those characters?
100%.
Yes. Okay.
Should
I
not be
agree.
touched.
No, no. Let him fulfill that role. Not let them do whatever they want. I mean, because we see what happens when the inmates run the ship, right, or run the asylum. That's happening right now in
You should
AEW.
have him work with Jeremy. Jeremy's really big with the Wyatts.
Yeah, yeah, dude. You know, and you just let it unfold, and it's going to be something beautiful. And I don't know what happens from here, but I think it's going to be something special.
Honestly, man, whatever happens from here, I stand on this every single time somebody shits on a talent, whether I like him in the ring or not. I will never go out of my way to trash another talent. Maybe their character,
Yeah,
like their person. If I don't think they're a good person, like I don't think Chris Jericho is a good person, I'm not going to. I'm not going to make it an everyday thing like they did to Bray.
yeah, yeah,
Bray's passing calmed me down a lot on criticizing people because people on the internet are way too harsh, man. Way
yeah.
too harsh on
They make
talent.
it life. They make it real life.
Yeah. Like one of my
Absolutely.
friends that I follow, he makes it an everyday thing. Uh, he makes it an everyday thing to bash Dakota Kai.
Yeah. So Will says, "Oh, is Alexa Bliss going to be a part of this arc?" As also, well, I would assume that she is because I think she was in the original plans.
Yeah, she was involved with the Fiend stuff
Yeah,
in the pandemic.
yeah. Now I think if they are going to do that, if they're going to drop Alexa Bliss from that, they need to put Liv Morgan in that place. I wholeheartedly think so. Um, just because, and there's a few reasons because she does have that psycho side of her, right? We've seen that. She's starting to step into more of the darker stuff, right? In the darker persona, not full, not heel, but like a little bit darker. And also, like her and Taylor are together, right? And they're a couple. And so, that being said, thinking that she might have been really close with Bray, right? So that would just kind of like usher in. But I'm really ready to see what the future holds for the Wyatt Six. Who knows? Who knows? But anyways, this is the portion of the show where Chris takes over and he talks about NXT because I don't watch NXT. And I've got to look at this cheesecake and make sure. Anyways, before we go, Will says, Chris just reminded me I feel bad for Top Dollar getting trashed. Saw his interview on Chris Van Vliet, and he seems genuinely like a wrestling fan and trying his best to improve, especially now in TNA. Yeah, I think
Go ahead.
he really only got trashed because of that top rope spot or trying to
Right.
dive him, and then like everybody started nitpicking at his shit.
Right.
So
I don't agree with how people have treated him after his release either, or even before he got released.
no,
My problem with him is he has no problem like dragging anybody on social media, but the second that anybody criticizes him for anything, he hits block on Twitter. He
oh
hits
yeah,
block on Instagram, and it's like, bro, you can't sit there and preach to people if you're not practicing the same shit you're telling us.
yeah, yeah. And he was kind of on his high horse and he made that post about indie wrestlers.
Right.
He got fired and now he's in the indies.
Yep.
But
Second time.
anyways, yep, second time. Anyways, I am going to jump off here. I'm not jumping off here, but I'm going to go check my cheesecake. I will be right back. And Chris is going to take over for NXT.
Do the comments pop up on their own?
You can go over to comments on the side. You
Okay.
might be able to.
Let me see.
Uh, if anything, I'll come back and I'll pull those comments up so you can address them.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, cool.
All right.
So we started off the show with Dijak and Sean Spears, and before Sean Spears came to WWE NXT, I didn't watch anything of his in AEW. I just remember Ty Dillinger, and I remember Vince just kind of throwing him away for that 10 gimmick, which it wasn't terrible. We all knew he was decent in the ring, and he has his own school with Tyler Breeze, I believe it is, called Flatbacks. Dijak and Sean Spears put on a pay-per-view level main event on the very first match of the show. I think Sean Spears is going to be very special, whatever he ends up doing. And I can't wait to see what happens after that match. Dijak won by pinfall because Joe Gacy helped him out. We had a Roxanne Perez promo, and that was actually a pretty solid promo. She's done very good. Will. I feel a lot of people talk up the Flatback School. I know Liv Morgan went there for training a little bit. I don't remember who else. I know some pretty notable names go there and train. Oh, Mercedes Moné was there too. Roxanne's done really good into stepping into her heel persona. I think this is how they should have debuted her as a heel, but they got to break them into the business and get those cheers. And she was on the brink of 2.0 and the new generation of NXT to kind of have a direction. HBK seems to believe in 99.9% of his roster, and it's pretty great to see, because if you guys don't watch NXT, man, I highly, highly recommend it. In my opinion, I think out of all three shows, not including AEW because I don't watch, it's the most consistently booked, story-driven television show. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the talent on NXT outdraws guys on Raw and SmackDown, because that's not true, because they're in front of a big audience every week. It's two completely different dynamics. But that said, I think NXT is pretty great. The women's division is nearly untouchable, and I truly think almost every female that has been in the ring on that roster has been incredible. Which brings me to Thea Hale and the newly debuting Jasmine Nix, who is associated with JC Jane. They have a story going back and forth with Chase U. Thea Hale won with a Fujiwara armbar. Really good match. It looks like they're setting up for Izzy Dane, JC Jane, and Kiana James against Kalani Jordan and Fallon Henley with Thea. So we'll see if they make a pre-show match. That's what I'm saying, man. Like NXT just as a whole is so good, and I feel it doesn't get enough love. Obviously, I don't know how much you pay attention to the ratings, but they're at a steady 600,000 viewers every week. That's 500,000 people. We're going to CW in October, so I'm hoping we get more viewers. We're hoping the show gets the love that it finally deserves, because, like I said, I truly think NXT is one of the most special shows of the entire week. Look at Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is probably one of the best examples of somebody who has absolutely thrived on NXT. And then you got Braun Breaker, who just debuted on SmackDown, who hits like a freight train. And I truly think that given the right time, everybody who is in NXT that is getting called up is a phenomenal talent. Yeah, he is, and he doesn't get enough love. Baron Corbin's great, and I hate that for so long he was just kind of put in the background, and nobody seems to give him his flowers. Now everybody's seeing what I've been saying for the past 10 years he's been on the rosters. He's one of the best, if not top 3 best workers, not wrestlers, workers on that roster. Next we had, I'll just combine this all together. NXT did a video package called Prime Target with Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. They made this shit look like a movie, man. They had CM Punk, they had Randy Orton, they had Cody Rhodes, all talk about Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. That's going to main event Stand and Deliver over the title match. So if that doesn't tell you how big this feud is, I don't know what else could, because I think HBK is doing something with NXT that Triple H just couldn't seem to get a harness on. And maybe that's because Vince was in charge, and maybe Vince limited Triple H to what he could and couldn't do. But there's no more disconnect between the main roster and NXT. There's more stories in NXT than there ever were. There are more characters, promo work, ring work. Like it's fantastic. Every Tuesday, man. Honestly, thought it was going to be the other way around, which you're turning on. See, here's the thing. I don't think Melo's ceiling is that high, and mainly because of his size. And I hate being that guy because there's a lot of small wrestlers that have been successful, notably Rey Mysterio. But I think Trick Williams screams a superstar, megastar over Melo. And, that's just me. Maybe Melo will prove me wrong in the next 5 years and prove that his ceiling is unlimited too. Melo's great in the ring. We've all seen how great he is in that ring. But I think Trick Williams is by far more talented than Carmelo Hayes. But again, that's just me. Lola Vice came out for an open challenge, cut one of the worst promos I've ever heard her cut. But, we talk about that every week. She's dog shit on that microphone. Natalya answered the open challenge. Natalya got a nice pop from Orlando, so that was really cool to see. And Natalya won the match. I think that's her first W in I don't know how long. But she got win by pinfall. And then we had a backstage little interview. Someone needs to help that poor girl. I agree. She's terrible. She's one of the worst people to ever pick up a freaking microphone. Maybe Natalya is the answer. Maybe Natalya will help Lola get to that level she needs to be at, because if I hear the word Latina Heat one more time, I think it might drive my head through the TV. We had a backstage segment with Sean Spears talking about how pissed off he was that Joe Gacy costed him the match. He's like, you weren't on my radar before, but now you are. Let me just say this about Sean Spears, man. Again, I didn't watch him in AEW, so I don't know too much about him there. I know the whole chairman gimmick. I know that. The only thing I remember is him bashing Cody over the head unprotected with a chair. Hated that. But him coming to NXT, man, we're getting some great promo work. We're getting some character work, and his presentation as a whole is great. But basically, he warned Joe Gacy that Gacy is now on his radar. Gacy was sitting on top of the Performance Center and threw the chair down, saying, oh, yeah, I forgot to give this back to you. And so we're going to get Joe Gacy and Sean Spears at some point. He was actually pretty good in AEW as part of the Pinnacle. See, I didn't watch AEW in the pandemic. I remember when he joined AEW, and I remember the Pinnacle was created, but they didn't really seem to do much with that stable that I remember. Was that Jericho's stable, Sean? Or was that MJF?
MJF.
Yeah, and I just feel like everybody was just kind of an afterthought in the Pinnacle. Then we had a Sol Ruca vignette talking about how she's going to go after Blair Davenport. Blair responds with saying she's going to beat her ass again. Then we got Ilya Dragunov and Channing Lorenzo Stacks. I'm just going to say this about Stacks, man. If you guys watched him from when he debuted to now, it is a completely different person in that ring. He is incredible. And Ilya is like the master seller. He's so good at what he does. And when he gets called up to the main roster, man, Ilya's going to be special. Ilya, of course, won that match. The Good Brothers ran into the Wolf Dogs, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, saying that the Good Brothers better win their match next week so they can make it to the title match. Keep who in NXT? Braun Breaker? Anyway, so the Good Brothers are Dragunov. Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with that, but I also think he's more than ready to be on the main roster. I mean,
I'd love to see him in Imperium.
Dude, him versus Gunther? If you guys have never seen him versus Walter or him versus Gunther Part 2, I swear on my life, your jaw will not leave the ground. It is one of the most breathtaking matches I've ever seen in my life. Um, and then we go through another Trick and Mellow promo. Um, we had Ridge Holland come out and basically say he's stepping away from wrestling. I don't know if it's a work or if it's true, but people cheering about his retirement or his hiatus is kind of messed up because we all know he's gotten death threats after the whole Big E unfortunate circumstance. Um, Lyra also came out and said that she's ready for Roxanne, setting up for Stand and Deliver. Then we had Josh Briggs versus Duke Hudson. Another really hard hitting match. Um, Josh Briggs won the match per pinfall, but we're going to get Josh Briggs versus Dijak versus Obafemi for the North American title. I think Dijak is ready for a title. I would almost dare say that Obafemi is ready for the main roster already, and he's phenomenal. He might need a little bit more polishing on his promos, but I think he's more than ready. And then we go through the sixth match, which was the Wolf Dogs versus Alpha Academy. If the Alpha Academy wins, they're going to be in the Stand and Deliver match. Wolf Dogs won. Braun Breaker is not a freaking human being. That man is an alien of some sort. Braun Breaker is incredible. Baron Corbin, again, one of the best workers to ever be part of that roster. But it was a great show. Stand and Deliver is going to be right before WrestleMania Night 1. So if you guys are interested, I would highly recommend you check it out.
Absolutely. I think, man, Philly's going to be on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Philly's going to be on fucking fire for WrestleMania, dude. I'm telling you. I know quite a few people that are going to be there, and it's just going to be insane. So, anyways, we're going to run down the card real quick for WrestleMania and give our predictions as to what we think is going to happen. Let me Google the card because there's a lot of matches. WWE WrestleMania.
Yeah, same. Will. It's I hate thinking about it because we don't know if Big E's ever going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Ridge apologized for that. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All
yeah,
right.
man. But you know the IWC. Unfortunately, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. Or shut.
Bastards.
Bastards. All right. So, oh, come on. I fucking hate ads. Anyways, all right. So the first match, we'll start at the bottom and I'll work my way up because I don't want to hit the main event yet.
Pause.
Yeah. Pause. Anyways, we got five. This was a match. Actually, this is a match that was talked about last night. We got the Final Testament. So Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits.
Wait, is that confirmed?
That is confirmed.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kross's first WrestleMania. That's what's up.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a good match. I don't think I think if they let them run and let them cook, it's gonna be a solid match. I just don't want to see another. I mean, dude, like to be honest, it could even be a Texas Tornado match where like everybody's legal in the match.
I agree, and it should be that.
It should be that. It shouldn't be a standard tag team match. Yeah. So this has the potential of being a good match. Will it be? We'll see. Who do you think is going over?
Kross needs to go over. Kross needs this win more than Bobby Lashley does.
Yes, I agree. They should never have put Lashley and the Street Profits as heels just to put them back as faces.
The problem with it was I don't think they predicted Bobby getting cheered as heavy as they did because that man will not get booed.
Right. All right. I think you're right. I agree with you. Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain need to pick up the win. I think Karrion Kross needs to get the pinfall over Bobby.
Agreed.
So next match we got, which is confirmed again, and this was made official last night: Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar.
A lot of tag matches.
A lot of tag matches. I think honestly, Dom and Santos need to go over.
Yep. I think Carlito's going to turn, and Dom's going to get the W, get his redemption from last year.
Yeah. I thought it should have been a one-on-one match. Ray versus Dom, mask versus hair.
See, but I
Or
think that would have
sorry,
been way too easy of a go-to.
yeah. Will says I miss the old hurt business. Me too. I do too. I think that they could have done so much better with it, but Triple H. I mean Vince. Uh yeah, so I think Dom and Santos are gonna go over. Next we got Damage Control. So we got Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane versus Jade Cargo, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. Stacked tag team match.
My God.
I mean, we obviously know what's gonna fucking happen.
Do we
Uh,
know?
well, we don't know. Now, here's the thing. I feel like it should be a tag team title match, a women's tag team title match.
I think it's too soon for that.
You think so?
100%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could be right. But I think Jade, Bianca, and Naomi are gonna go over. How long do you think it is before they repackage Naomi to Trinity Fat 2? And have her join the club?
I don't think she needs to be repackaged.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because I like her presentation right now is pretty great.
Yeah.
She's not the main character of the story at the moment, so
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where things are with her 3 months, maybe 4 months from now.
Yeah. Very true. Next we have LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I feel like this needs to be a stipulation match. A gimmick match. I feel like this should have been a gimmick match because they've been going at each other with chairs. It could have, so he said, "Do you mean Trinity joining the Bloodline?" Yes. I think she should join the Bloodline.
See,
I mean,
here's my question about that. Who is she going against? Because there are no stables that the Bloodline is feuding with at the moment that have women.
at the moment,
I mean, the only person that I can think of is if Cody brings his wife in.
don't want that.
See what I mean? Like, it's just kind of one of those things where there's Scarlett, there's B-Fab,
Yeah.
Zelina, and Brandy Rhodes, technically.
Electra.
Yeah, but she hasn't done anything in the main roster yet.
No.
Like, anything.
Nah, she ain't wrestled. But anyways, I think that LA Knight and AJ Styles should be a gimmick match. I think that it should be not an Extreme Rules match, but repackaged as a hardcore match. Because they've been going at each other with fucking with chairs, dude, or having a chairs match. Will says Bloodline and Judgment Day feud, perhaps.
I think Rhea is outgrowing Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she needs the Judgment Day anymore, truthfully.
Nope. And I'll bring up that point, and then something that I was talking to a friend of mine about with Rhea when her match comes up. So next we got the 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed tag team titles: Judgment Day versus DIY, New Day, Awesome Truth, A-Town Down, and New Catch Republic. I don't see Judgment Day retaining.
I don't either.
I think
it's time.
Yeah.
But I do think, however, this is how they split the titles.
Could.
What if they have New Catch Republic on one side, DIY on the other side, take one Raw, one SmackDown, and that's how they split the titles.
Good. That's a good one. Will says, I mean, Rhea reminds me of how Ivory's Women Championships was with the right to censor a while ago. Yeah, I agree. I mean that could be it. DIY could do it in New Catch, but I feel like if they're gonna do it like that, then it should be DIY and A-Town Down Under or A-Town Down.
Yeah,
to shock everybody. And then they just go, well, the titles are split. Anyways, next we got Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, the battle of the fucking Usos. The battle of the Usos. It's gonna be a banger. That's gonna be bangers.
They're gonna beat the dog shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's blood?
Not in the Usos match.
Okay, not in the Usos match. Dude, who do you think goes over?
I think Jimmy would benefit from going over more than Jay would. Jay's already over.
I agree,
Jimmy's not.
but I think Jay goes over, but I think Jimmy would benefit a lot more from
Yeah.
going. But the only thing is, if you're going by this, like leave the fans aside, leave going over aside. If you look at the story, right? Jimmy's
They're
always been the always been the big brother, right? And Jay's tried to get out of his shadow. He's trying to get out of his shadow. In this story, Jay would have to go over to
yeah.
step out of his shadow.
I'm cool with either one.
Will says Jimmy is the Marty Jannetty of the Usos, unfortunately.
Um, See, I would agree with that if Jimmy Uso was irrelevant, but he's anything but irrelevant.
He's the Jim Anvil Neidhart of the Usos.
I think that's more accurate.
Yeah. According to the storyline, if we're going by the storyline, I think Jay needs to go over to step out of his shadow. United States Championship. We got Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus KO. Who do you think? What do you think? Who do you think wins?
Logan Paul should win.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think Randy's going to hit an RKO and KO, and then Logan, as soon as he's going to get up, Logan throws him out of the ring and pins him. I think that's what happens. But here's the thing: it's a triple threat. There's no rules. Yeah. So Will says, "Yeah, I like the analogy better with Jim the Anvil." Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think Logan Paul goes over for the U.S. Championship. Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship.
Not feeling it, dog.
I think Gunther's going to retain.
He needs to.
No. I want Gunther to retain. What I think is going to happen is Sammy's going to somehow pull wind out of his asshole. And my only problem with this is like we talked about last week. If Gunther loses, where does that put Gunther? Does he try and chase the Intercontinental title again? Or does he step into the main event scene because, well, he is the main event, but like step into that main event scene where he challenges for the heavyweight championship later on down the road.
Right.
I don't want to see him get lost in the shuffle.
I think he should retain until after Bash at Berlin.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Sammy, I just don't care about Sammy. I really don't. I never have. Never have.
After he lost the tag team titles, I haven't cared about him.
The most I cared about Sammy was when he was feuding with Johnny Knoxville.
I can relate. I can understand that. Will says, I like Sammy, but Chad Gable should have gotten the belt already after Gunther broke his record. I think that it should have been Chad Gable in that spot instead of Sammy.
See, here's my thing. I understand why they pivoted to Sammy because fans the year prior wanted Sammy to beat Roman. And I get why Sammy's in that spot to quote unquote beat Gunther. But I feel like if Chad were to be the one in this spot, it would be far too obvious of him going over at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. All right. So next, we've got the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. I'm going to say this. I think if Rhea loses, then she should break away from the Judgment Day.
Agreed.
Right? You said that she's outgrowing the Judgment Day. I agree. I think if she loses, she steps aside. But I think that her losing a championship, that championship, should not be an option at this point. Because she has been, in my opinion, she is the most over woman on both of the rosters. Will says, I get it. Kind of like a long story arc for Chad. Yes.
Yeah. So here's my thing with Rhea. Everybody likes to say that she doesn't need to wrestle and that she's the most over woman and all that. And I don't disagree with any of that stuff. However, what I do disagree with is putting a title on people that don't defend the damn thing. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, The Rock, now Rhea. All of those people are draws. We know this. We've been watching for over 20 years. We know this. But the point being, if you're going to have somebody hold a goddamn title and set a record, in my opinion, if I'm looking at champions across the board, Gunther and Ilya and Seth are my top three.
Yeah.
That's not disrespecting Roman, because Roman carried us in the darkest time of the freaking company.
Yeah.
And he was the most important character. His bloodline was the most important story going out of the pandemic.
Yep.
Now that we've gotten past the pandemic WrestleMania, the post-pandemic WrestleMania, and everything afterwards, the common theme, Roman Reigns. And another common theme, less schedule, less appearances. And I get the special attraction argument. I really, really do. But Rhea not defending and Rhea not having storylines, man, I'm not about it. I actually fucking hate it.
Well, so Rhea has this storyline, and it's that
now she does.
Yeah, but she hasn't had one before. It's just been she's fighting contenders. Yeah, I get it. So next we got the WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky versus Bayley. What do you think happens in this?
Bayley should go over 120,000%. No question in my mind, especially after last night.
Oh, absolutely. So Will says with Roman, though, is understandable why he can't wrestle as much anymore because of his health issues, unfortunately. But yeah, I do agree that the belt should have been taken off him already. Yeah.
I'm 50-50 with that take. And the only reason I say that is because, okay, if we're going to use the health thing, why is he our champion? You know what I mean? Like, that's like, and I know this is going to sound really, really shitty of me putting it this way, but that's almost like giving somebody who has terminal cancer a WWE title and never defending it. And obviously, I'm not trying to say that in a vicious way.
Yeah.
But I think I understand why Cody lost last year, and I understand he needed adversity and all that bullshit, but it's time.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear Hogan's record anymore.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you on Bayley. Bayley goes over. Next we got okay, so I don't even know why. Okay, so next we got the tag team match. We got Cody and Seth versus The Rock and Roman. I think you and I hit it on the head last week with The Rock and Roman go over night one. So it becomes Bloodline Rules night two.
Yeah.
And okay, so Will says, yeah, I agree with Chris. I think Cody winning last year would have been a win-win for both Cody and Roman. Yeah. So yeah, I think Roman and Rock go over night one, main event. Next we got co-main event. We got Seth versus Drew. What do you think happens?
Don't forget Mr. CM Punk on commentary.
Mr. CM Punk on commentary. Best in the ring, on the mic, and on commentary.
I think Seth is going over. And I also think Damian Priest is cashing in.
I agree. I think Punk is going to distract Drew, and Cody's going to pick up the dub. But it's going to be a hard hitting match, man. Like it's going to be a hard hitting match, and I think that Damian Priest is going to cash in.
Here's my thing about
the second heist of the century.
Here's my thing about heels having that redemption arc like Drew seems to be having. I don't think there's a payoff for him winning a title.
No.
And I like Drew kinda. Like I'm like 70-30 on him. Like I like him and I dislike him more oftentimes than not.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have here is that his gimmick is literally his Twitter posts.
Yep.
Like the one promo he cut when him and Seth were face to face. I'm like, bro, that was terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see a repeat of the pandemic Drew McIntyre because when he was champion, I couldn't wait for him to lose the damn title.
Yeah. His feud with Randy was great, but that's the only feud that was good.
I mean, how many times did him and Bobby Lashley go back and forth?
It was terrible.
Way
It was
too
terrible.
much.
Yeah. So our final match: Cody versus Roman. Oh, hold on. And then Teddy Long comes out of nowhere and declares a tag team match with Damian Priest and Sheamus versus CM Punk and Seth.
Oh shit!
With your special guest, ring announcer, The Undertaker, sucker. Anyways, so our main event of WrestleMania for all the marbles. Cody versus Roman Reigns, part 2. God damn it. There's so much that's going into this.
So much, bro.
So
It's
much.
literally unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say
We
Cody,
got
and
it.
I'm not gonna say Roman. I can't. I can't pick.
We
I
win.
can't. I can't. Yeah, we win. You're right because you're gonna be there,
Yeah.
and this might be one of the most important WrestleManias of all time.
Yeah. It's
This,
going to set the pace for the next decade.
if we're talking about like what this means for the company and who's running it now compared to who was running it in 17 and everything before this, Cody winning would be the best possible option. I don't want Roman to hold that title hostage for another 6 to 8 months, even a year. I can't do it. I cannot do another year of Roman Reigns not being on the goddamn show.
Yep. Yep. At that point, you would stop defending him.
And my second point is Roman and Rock, however it's going to happen, doesn't need to be for a title.
No.
That would be completely asinine to do
There's
that.
yeah. So I see a few different variables in this situation happening. The first one, we could have Rock screw like okay. So we'll go with Cody wins, right? We'll go with Cody wins. Here's a few variables. Um, Obvious, Rock screws over Roman, right? Rock comes in, he wants to beat the piss out of Cody. He wants to finish Cody off, but Roman's like, no, man, I'm finishing him off. They fight, they get into a verbal confrontation. Rock hits the rock bottom, people's elbow, walks out. Plain and simple. Second, we get the Avengers. And I think you've seen this poster. Everybody that's got screwed over by the bloodline comes out and delivers blows.
Oh my god, that would be insane. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people.
Yeah, you would see the portals opening everywhere, like motherfuckers running out of the crowd,
dude.
music playing.
I think I would quite literally shit bricks.
Yeah.
If we only get Austin and Cena, bro, that's more than enough for me.
Yeah, I mean that could be it too. You know, and then we could see Cody go over clean.
I'm not against that at all either.
No, Will said I never even thought of that. The Avengers thing, yeah. So that could be it. I know Triple H is planning something big. If Cody goes over in that Avengers spot, yes, I'll shit a brick, and I think all of us will. But I think if he does do that, it doesn't give him the credibility of.
I was going to say it kind of puts that asterisk on his name.
Yeah.
So how about
like
this?
You won, but you won with the help of everybody.
How about this? Cody goes over clean. Austin comes out. Cena comes out. Hogan comes out. All to raise Cody's hand and shake his hand. For the next decade. That's 3 decades worth of wrestlers.
Yeah. Or the roster
and put him over.
Yeah. Or it could be a moment like that, or a moment like Starrcade 97 where the whole everybody comes out and they hoist him up in the ring, right? Like that would be awesome. Like we could even have some interference to stop the bloodline from interfering, right? Now, flip side to that, Roman wins. Roman picks up the dub. I don't think Roman will go over clean, so we'll scratch that. If Roman wins,
that's even worse if it doesn't go over clean.
Yeah, no, because he couldn't beat him clean for a second year in a row. The Rock comes out, and the Rock. Well, obviously the Rock's gonna be out there. So Will says, "So wait, that would mean Randy Orton, KO, Cena, Jay, all of them got screwed over by the Bloodline. Not to mention Seth. Not to mention
Rey
KO,
Mysterio, Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor. I mean, there's a lot of names.
LA Knight. Yeah,
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah, but I think that Avengers spot would be just too much. It would have to be the core babyface.
Super overbooked.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like, yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, it would be just like a litany of people. But like going back to the Roman thing, if Roman comes out and or if Roman wins and The Rock comes, to beat the piss out of Cody. I mean, we're obviously going to get a Cody Rock spot at Mania. Like that's going to happen. But if Rock puts down Cody, that doesn't say a lot for Roman.
That makes it even worse.
That would be even worse. The second bit is that Seth turns on Cody. That's something I've seen float online with an idea. I don't think that that's very likely.
So here's my problem with that. Drew McIntyre is a full-blown heel.
Yep.
Why the hell would you put a heel versus heel? That'd be the dumbest shit ever. And then have a heel cash in? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. So there's just a lot of moving parts happening right now. With the Cody thing, I honestly think Cody is going to go over. I really think Cody's going to go over. Sorry, I would like Cody to go over. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. So yeah, wrestling is fucking crazy more. So Will says, I thought kayfabe doesn't exist anymore. They're bringing it back, man. They're bringing it back.
It's definitely still borderline, but it's coming back, like Sean said.
Yeah. So now something got brought to my attention. He doesn't watch the show. Him and I just converse. He's an old army buddy of mine from Alaska. And he said, still the most shocking thing to me in professional wrestling or wrestling was Eric Bischoff showing up on Raw and working under Vince McMahon. Chris, what do you think one of the most shocking moments is in wrestling to you?
Taker having his streak broken will not be topped, in my opinion. I think it is one of the most controversial things that's ever happened, and B, one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that those two moments are really shocking. I'm gonna throw a third one in. WrestleMania 19, with Austin versus Rock, when Vince came out and broke up The Rock pinning Austin, because at that time Vince was backed by The Rock, or Vince was backing The Rock. And for that to happen and him just to hand the steel chair to Austin and Austin beat the dog shit out of him.
17? That was 17.
That was 17, yeah, because the first one was 15, sorry. Right. Or maybe 16.
15.
One of them, yeah. So yeah, and then Austin shaking Vince's hand at the end of the show. That was crazy. That to me was mind blowing. Will says I was gonna say Montreal Screwjob. Yeah, Montreal Screwjob was pretty big too.
You know it's a pretty big one, I think, is Punk, honestly.
Yeah.
Punk coming back to WWE is pretty fucking shocking. Like I still had doubts up to the point of the credits of him showing up.
Yeah.
And I know he had that whole, visiting Raw and shaking hands and having that conversation with Triple H and Vince, but never in a million years did I think arguably one of the most bitter ex-employees of WWE would ever come back.
Yeah. Yeah. If we're going bitter ex-employees, Bret Hart's another one. Speaking of the Montreal Screwjob.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll go as far as Goldberg, and we'll go as far as Warrior. Not, I would say shocking because Warrior stepped foot in a WWE ring, not to wrestle, but to be there. And his animosity with Vince and Hogan.
I would say Warrior more than Goldberg.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say the most shocking debut, in my opinion, is Sting. Because Sting, in my opinion, was never
That's true.
what he said he didn't want to show face in WWE because of the way that Booker T was treating some WCW talent. So I mean, yeah, pretty big stuff. But
So
look, man,
let me ask you about that.
yeah,
Do you think Booker should have gone over Triple H? Because I
yeah,
don't.
you don't think so?
Nope.
I think Booker at that time was really hot. Um, that was during the terror of Triple H or the Terror Rising era. um, so I think Booker T was hot at that time, right? He was
Right.
doing everything. Um, I think that he should have gone over, in my opinion, personal opinion. I don't think that the story of Triple H being racist is why, or Triple H burying him wasn't it, but I don't. I think he should have gone over. So Will says, yeah, pretty much anyone that legit hated WWE but then appeared WWE show. Yeah, yeah. I I think he should have gone over. But then like Triple H is just fucking crazy. Oh, Vern Gagne being inducted into the Hall of Fame is shocking too. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, there's a lot of shocking moments. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that Chris, you got anything before we go?
I hope you enjoy WrestleMania, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna be excited. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be enjoyable.
Are you who are you meeting? Are you meeting anybody?
No, no, the lines are gonna be too long, man. And $200. I mean, yes, premium. That's a price to me, like a big name, but like I don't really have. I don't really have an interest. I met everybody I want to meet. I mean, it'd be cool to meet CM Punk again or meet Seth, but honestly, I'm not trying to wait in those lines, dude. I'm going
I feel you.
Sunday. I'm going Sunday to WWE World. All I'm really wanting to do is walk through that exhibit of everything because I think that's really cool, and go to the WrestleMania shop. Um, I think that's going to be really awesome, really cool. Um, I'm gonna go. I really want, when I'm in Philly, I've never seen the Rocky statue. I want to go see the Rocky statue. I want to see the Liberty Belt. That's really big for me. That's something I want to do. Oh, Will says, "What is WWE World?" It is the new Fan Access. So it is what Fan Access used to be, but it is ran by Fanatics, a different company, a booking company. Um, so
It's
yeah,
like Comic Con, but for wrestling.
yeah, it's like Comic Con, but for wrestling. They're doing it Thursday to Monday. You pay $65 for adults, 25 for kids, and you get in and you get access to like the WW 2K tournament. You get access to the WWE World, or sorry, the Superstore. You get access to pretty much like the walkthrough exhibit where they show like different costumes and stuff like that. You get to do like an entrance. You get to do all kinds of crazy shit. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cool. I'm meeting a buddy of mine, Rusty Diamond, a fellow podcaster. He lives outside of Philly, but he's gonna be in Philly during WrestleMania weekend. And yeah, man, it's just gonna be a fun fucking time, dude. I'm gonna have a blast. I'm gonna be pretty wrestled out. And then the following week we'll be back, and I'll share my opinions about WrestleMania. We'll talk about WrestleMania. And we'll talk about the way the crowd is because I know crowd in TV and crowd in person, like Chris has said, two different things. And we're be in a fucking football stadium. So,
Yeah.
yep. Would be crazy if I bumped into Chris Van Fleet. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I
I've
talked to
tagged
him on Twitter. You got to reach out to him, man.
I've tagged him on Facebook. He liked one of my things on Facebook. I reached out to him via email. I think the next thing I'm going to do is say, hey, I'd love to interview Chris Van Vliet because you do all the interviewing. I'd love to interview you. I take a big inspiration from him, the way I conduct my shows, and the way we conduct this. So yeah. But anyways, or wait, even Sam Roberts. Sam Roberts is cool. I like Sam Roberts. But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with us for this hour and 20 minutes. It's been fun. I have to go finish my cheesecake and put it in the fridge for tomorrow. I'm gonna make like a blueberry topping. It's gonna be great. So I hope you guys enjoy Zombie Jesus Day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy WrestleMania, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Much love. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.